This is another episode of Crunchy What Wet. The only episode that will stay crunchy when you add milk. And I stand by that, and I have to remind you repeatedly. There's a lot going on right now. As I've said before, I am in school. I am doing stuff with my sort of life, I guess. I don't know. There is a lot of, with that, I don't know if you've ever gone back to school. It's trials and tribulations, or makeshift and candy, or Mountain Dew and late nights. I don't know. But there is a lot of expectations that aren't there in today's education. Now, I don't know how we actually program, or let's start with just something new. You go into a class that's called Intro, and you think, okay, they're going to start you from square one. Where I'm actually particularly going, I'm still there, so I kind of want to leave names out of it as of right now. But they expect you to be at 5 or 6 level on 1 through 10. And rather than Intro, it's kind of really okay. But it's kind of one of those things where it's not actually conducive to a good learning program. But it does happen. I understand. But there's just it's just a situation that I'm not liking. But there's I'm going to move on from that just because there's other things I'd rather talk about. There's things like, with the new Star Wars. Now, I don't know if you've played it. There's a new Battlefront Star Wars game, or Star Wars Battlefront, or however you want to call it. I think it is Star Wars Battlefront game. It is right now, yeah, Star Wars Battlefront. It's out on beta right now. It is available for anyone to play it. If you have Origin, you can actually go ahead and download the beta of it. I think you have to be registered or special, or know a guy who knows a guy. But it is out there. I would get on that. Just to, play it. I've watched a couple videos. I played it for about an hour this morning. I liked it. I'm not a huge fan of that kind of that style of just running around and killing everyone. Well, I kind of do. No, I take that back. But I haven't been a Battlefront kind of game. I wasn't a Call of Duty guy. I wasn't any of that. I was more the racing, stuff like that. But with this game, it actually is fun because I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I'm not like, I don't collect stuff. I don't cosplay. I don't do any of that. But I do enjoy it. I do like it. I just don't have room for the stuff. So I've limited myself on what I was taking, or purchasing, or spending my money on. I think I geek over other people's their collections. I love their collections. I love looking at their collections. It's just when you have so much stuff already, it really comes down to, do I spend my $380 on a new camera, or that I actually could possibly make money on? Or do I go ahead and buy the 4-foot tall, Darth Vader that's animatronic with the other one so they could, fight? It's kind of, I don't know. It's a hard question, but I look at it as long haul, because I probably get bored staring at it because I don't really have a place to put it, and it would probably have to sit on my desk, and a 4-foot tall thing on my desk, as cool as it would be, would get in the way of my computer monitors. But for the longest time, I don't know if anyone else was the same way. There was that where you had to buy all the, you had to have all the CDs. I don't know if you remember this. The books, the CD books, and your coolness level went up by how many pages in your CD book. There was the 8-pager, there was the 12, and they got your 24, 36, 48, and they kind of went up that way. But then you went up to substantially like the 100, 200, 250, I think it was. And then I think it went to like 300 and then like 500. And then you got like the professional ones, which I got a hold of later on, which were 1,000 pages. You had 1,000 CD book. It was 4 across and 4 down. It was a huge book. Now, this was back in the age of burning CDs. And everything like that, before iPhones, before you still had MP3 players, sort of, but it was mostly Discman, and I was rocking the mini disc back then. So it was a evolution of collecting, I guess. You had that level of the people were like, oh, do you have that CD or that song? And you're like, book 4. Page, whatever. And if you could call that out, you were like almost like, I guess the term now is inhuman, instead of a superhero or something like that. And I was going through some of mine. I've since given them away. I used to have books upon books of burnt CDs. Now, being that everything's readily at a fingertip nowadays, where you can go on YouTube and listen to a song you want, Spotify, Google Play, iTunes, even YouTube, just anything. Everything's everywhere, so you don't really have to really purchase it. If you want to listen to that 90s song for Throwback Thursday, then you can go ahead and just, Google search it, find it, listen to it, and that was my jam. And then go on your way. Because you just realize that everybody's looking at you funny because they're singing along with the weird song from the 80s. The CD has gone to the wayside. I still like my CDs, but I don't need all the ones that I had. I had books upon books of old school hip-hop songs. Now, depending on when you were depending on when you were born, the term old school means a lot for different people. When people are saying old school nowadays, they're talking about Notorious B.I.G., Tupac, Ice Cube, old school Dr. Dre, Ice-T, and those are great. Don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking them down whatsoever. But I'm talking about truly old school rap and hip hop. Now, I wasn't a cool kid. Well, I still am not really. But there is, you get into the old school, really old school LL Cool J. You get the old school Run DMC. I hate saying it, but the DJ Jazzy Jeff, Curtis Blow. There's a lot of other ones, but ones that you've never really heard of. But there's Jungle Brothers. Jungle Brothers are still at least they were a couple years ago performing. They've changed a little bit, but they've done it. I don't know if you remember. The group Too Short that was phenomenal. But I mean, these are the people like 83, 84, 85, somewhere in there. It's just, there's, we wouldn't have a lot of the beats, we wouldn't have a lot of the miscellaneous songs and samples if we didn't have Cool Mo D. If we didn't have, the Treacherous 3. I mean, I don't know if, we know who Queen Latifah is, but, I mean, if you go all the way back to, like, 89, it was during the Black, Africa Pride, everybody wore the pennant, stuff like that. That was, at that point, it was, everybody was doing that, and there's so many different people that just influence. I mean, even, you can't come up with your own music anymore, almost, just because it's been done. It's been sampled, remixed, resampled, remixed, or remixed, excuse me. But hey, it's, so back to my story though. I had a whole CD case. I had one that was the top 100 of albums in just the front section. Then I had every other, that was just in the 80s. Then I had all the ones that I liked behind it, which weren't necessarily the top ones, but they were still there. Then I had the weird, obscure ones, because I had the CDs. I had Simon and Garfunkel. I had Hank Williams Jr. right next to Simon and Garfunkel, right next to my Elvis, right next to my the Yanni Live at Acropolis CD. I had all those just for the sake of having them. I was almost hoarding the music, and it got to the point where I just was like, you know what, I'm done. There's a point where you have to just kind of walk away and realize that it needs to end. And I did that with CDs. I mean, don't get me wrong, I still love all my music. Before I gave them away, I copied them, or I converted them all over to MP3. Now, most of these CDs, I actually had the maxi single. I had the enhanced CD. The enhanced CDs, if you don't remember them, if you're too young to actually know what they are, they were actually singles, or like a CD single or tape single. I don't remember this, but it was like one or two songs on each side, or one song on each side, depending on if you're lucky or not. But then you'd have you put it in a computer. This is the new age thing. This was before YouTube. To get the music out, it would play the video of the song, which was cool in the back of the day. I mean, because you could play it along and watch it and everything like that. But I had a lot of those because it came to a point where I only liked one or two songs, and they were the cool ones because I was trying to be cool. But I would put I would buy those because I could pick those up at rest in peace Tower Records or Blockbuster Music, or I guess I guess it turned into FYE. But any of those, I mean, even Target, Fred Meyer, or any of those. But I would end up buying those because I could get 3 or 4 of them for $20. Then came the BMG years. I don't know if you've ever did BMG or Columbia House or something like that, but with that, it was everybody has these box things. I actually just got one. You can check out my channel on YouTube. It's under Croak the DJ. But I will be doing the unboxing later today of it's a box from Japan. It's called Japan Crate. Now, it's with that, it was just candy from Japan. That's all it is. It was like $15. I was like, yay, candy. I'm a fat guy. But with BMG and Columbia House, they were doing 10 CDs for a penny. But then you had to buy 3 at a regular price. Well, if I was already spending $15 a piece on CDs, which is still ridiculous, I don't understand. I mean, nobody likes a whole CD. And I take that back. There's about 4 or 5 CDs out there I can listen to all the way through. But I was buying, I do 8 or 9 at a time. So I would, get 80, 90 CDs, every month. This is back, mind you, I had a paper route, and so I was making money. I was one of those rich kids. Well, at the time I was rich. Actually, I take that back. But I was making more than I do now when I had a paper route. That should tell you something. That's kind of messed up. I need to just go back and have a paper route because I was making enough money. But I would do these services and do that, and I did it for a while with the movies, but it was getting too expensive. But with the CD, it was just who could get, I got that CD, I got that CD, I got that CD. And it really took away from the back in the day when you made the mix tapes for people. Yeah, we had to mix CDs, but they weren't really. There wasn't a lot of feeling in them. It was just hey, I'm going to do this. Now, I'm going to make you this CD, or I'll just copy it. I'll burn it for you. And it became a staple, Googling. But the with the mix tapes, kind of going out with a tape. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie High Fidelity. Great movie. It breaks the fourth wall at points. It kind of catalogs one man's struggle, and it's interesting. It really is. Let's just put it. It's interesting. Now, if you haven't seen it, then I'm sorry, but they talk about mixtapes in it. It was in an era a while back. I mean, yes, there's CDs, but people still had a tape player. They were still able to say, here's a mixtape. I took the time and I listened to every single song. I put it in an order that I felt told a story. Now, with nowadays, you have, you could still do it with a thumb drive. You could be here's a thumb drive. I labeled these, and it would take a little more work, and you'd have to go label each track as 1, 2, 3, as you wanted them to be in, because otherwise it would be just in alphabetical order, or if they hit shuffle. That's fine to hit shuffle. I understand to mix things up, but there's a way that the songs should flow. And once we moved all into CDs and MP3s and I guess back in the day it was WAV files, but once we moved into that, it was actually quite frustrating, just because all the feeling, all the soul behind making that music, going through I've made mixtapes for people with from a vinyl that I purchased. The records, what DJs use and what your parents have in the cupboard. There's those. I've lost a lot of respect for the people who just go, oh, I made you a CD and kind of throw it. Now with all mine, I've orchestrated it now so when you play it, so if I made you a thumb drive, and I will, if you ask me to make you a thumb drive, I will zip it up, and then you tell me how much room you have, and I will make it and load it up somewhere, and I will do it. Just find me on the internet, message me, ask me, and it may take me a little while, but if you give me a theme, I will do it. It's an art form that I hold dearly, and I think that it shouldn't be lost. With as far as that goes, I would tell a story. I would use samples from favorite movies, or drop clips. I would use quotes from movies that tied into the music. If there was a song that was in a movie, I might throw that in there. But if you hit shuffle, it all gets because it's all different tracks, you will still get that. There's a certain level of pride that can be taken into a well-made mixtape. Now, I'm trying not to be too preachy, but I'm getting there. It's back to the CDs. With making a CD, you have the shuffle button, you have all that. But if you have they know what track it is. 1, 2, 3. It's a physical media thing. And you get to label it, write it on there, or draw a picture, or make a label. I don't know if anyone makes labels anymore. But there are ways to really hone it in for yourself. I have a Magical Car Ride CD that I still visit to this day. I also have a CD that a friend of mine, her sister-in-law or former sister-in-law or somebody, was proud of the bass in her car. Now, I don't know, I understand you have little kids and everything like that, or she did, but she dubbed the bass as calling it boom booms. Now, I don't know, I've always dubbed boom booms as another word for crap in your pants. I made a boom boom. I think I heard it on a movie somewhere, and then I heard it again on another movie. I don't know. But she dubbed them as boom booms. Now, they were less than ecstatic. Like, my mono A2DP Bluetooth headset had more bass than her car. I don't know where she got them. I'm not going to throw any company under the bus, but it was probably an installation issue or the music that she was listening to. The CD that I actually made was called Shut the F Up. Completely spelled out. It didn't just say F. And then it had her name at the end. I'm not going to mention her name because I don't want to give her the gratification of that. The CD was based on fun songs that had a lot of bass to them. It was a CD that I could listen to on probably, since it was an MP3 CD, and they were still numbered. I took the time to go through 1 through 107, I think it was, on there. And each one of them it was, rather than just the names, it was 1 space, dash space, the title. 2 space, it took a long time to do it. But it was a CD I could listen to for days, because by the time I got done with it, I could just go back through and hit shuffle. So I'd listen to it straight through, and hit shuffle, and then it was like a whole new other experience. But I usually kept it in my CD visor, your case on the visor in your car, how we used to keep our CDs way back in the day. And it was set up like that. I had it there, so if she was sitting there, like, trying to be cool in the driveway, playing her music, whatever, I would pull up at this girl's house. I wouldn't go to the girl's house. She would be at... Anyway, she'd be where I was going already. I wouldn't go out of my way, but she would be going where I was going, like picking up kids or something, and I just pull up with that, and I would turn it about a third of the way up, and you couldn't even hear anything, and she'd just turn her car off and go inside. It was kind of it wasn't like she deserved it, but it was more of, at the time, it was kind of like a neener, or a nanny boo boo type of deal. And I don't necessarily agree with what I was doing, but it was funny. It didn't harm anybody. The CD was incredibly good. I still have it somewhere. I've since turned it into MP3 and loaded it up on my Google Play, just because I was so proud of it. I made it into a playlist. So now if I'm driving down the road and someone's doing that, well, I don't have any bass in my car anymore. But I can still listen to it and enjoy it and pretend that I'm loud and bassy and cool. And it's the whole, I guess the whole point I'm trying to make is, we have the ability to hold on to what we're doing. I still love me some, I'm not the coolest kid in the world, by any means, but I still love me some Boogie Down Productions. I still listen to, probably at least once a week, Boogie Down. I listen to just straight up KRS-One. I'll even bust out with, like, some third bass. Now, if you don't know who these are, please Google them on, wherever. Just Google them and YouTube them. Listen to the music, enjoy them. But it's just, don't forget. I guess what I'm saying is just, enjoy them. Don't forget where you came from. But I don't know. Just, I challenge you to right now. Even if it's MP3, I'll make a playlist on YouTube and send it to somebody. Make an MP3 disc. Make a CD. If you still have a tape player, make a tape player for somebody. Flash drive it. Go buy one. You can get an 8 gig flash drive for next to nothing. I don't even know if you can buy a 2 gig, but buy it. Just buy like the $4 one at Walmart or Kmart or Target or Sears or wherever they happen. Buy a cool one so they can hold on to it. Or order the Transformers one off Amazon. I don't know. But just get one of these and take the time and make somebody a CD. Or a playlist. I guess it's more of a playlist, because I guess a playlist would be on a tape. It would be but put it in order. Number the songs so that way it comes across as the story that you're trying to tell. Now, don't limit yourself to just putting like Five Finger Death Punch, Slayer, Combi Christ, and then like a Marilyn Manson song, because you could do that and it would tell a story. But if you need to throw in some Flyleaf or some effervescence, I can't talk today, or something like that, that might be something to do. But really dive deep into it. Tell a story. Express how you feel. If you like that girl, go ahead and make a CD for her. Sit down and really, honestly, 100% you know, just express it. Don't just throw on a bunch of like weird get it on songs. You know, put it on some songs that have to do with being happy. Put a couple of songs that express how they make you feel. This goes for girls, for guys too. But I know guys will be like, whatever. But girls, if you still had a tape player, if you can still buy them at Walmart and Target and Fred Meyer and Kroger and Fry's and any of these places. If you have someone that is, now if you have the money, obviously, but if you have the money, buy somebody a little tape player boombox, or go to the thrift store and find one, or if you have one that you're willing to part with or something like that, but go buy one. Go get a tape and make somebody a mixtape. I challenge you to this. Now, with that in mind, you kind of have to be careful because they might not have any other tapes or something like that. But so get the tape player, radio, MP3 player, all in one. Get the one that looks old. If they're not gonna like it, don't do it. But if they're into niche-y stuff, or they're a hipster or something, chances are they have one. But make it, make it so that whoever you give it to knows that deep down inside, this is how you feel. So if you can't express how you feel, do it through other people's words. People have been doing it for years, quoting song lyrics. They've done it in movies. They've done it in real life. They've done it. They express, like those who don't have the words or the ability to express themselves can always pull from literature, from they've done it from books and poetry and everything. That's what they used to do in the old days. They used to sit in a field and read poetry together. That would drive me nuts because I would be getting itchy from the grass. But the actual point of that is sharing thoughts along the way of how and why you feel in a certain way, how you feel it, what makes you feel that way, and you can do that with a good, solid mixtape. Now, if you have any questions, you can always hit me up on Twitter at CrunchyOneWet, or you can, wherever, you can track me down somewhere or another. I don't know. I'm on Facebook even at CrunchyOneWet. Facebook.com/CrunchyOneWet. Message me if you need a certain song. If you're like, I feel like this girl makes me feel like I'm going to vomit whenever I see her because I like her so much and I get nervous. Okay, probably want to leave that out, but it will. There are songs or movie quotes or that you can work with. Now, if she's a fan of South Park, you can use South Park because that was a running gag. So there's always an option, even if it's a sound clip, even if it's a 4-minute monologue from a movie. This is someone or something that you're giving to somebody that's conveying how you feel, and that's what music is lost because now it's all about look at me, I have a car, look at me, and it's kind of gone down the wrong rabbit hole, but we need to bring it back. I guess that would be my end point. Just bring back the feeling in the music that you listen to, that you share, that you enjoy. And until then, I guess my only words would be stay crunchy.